After torching key levels, is Bitcoin approaching local support? Wouldn't you like to know? We all want to know, right? Hey guys, it's Keith Allen. It is just another bloody day in paradise here as Bitcoin continues to plummet at this stage, and the market wondering, where are we going to find support? And quite frankly, there's two levels of support we got to keep in mind here. One is, we're going to get a relief rally somewhere, right? At some point in time, you would expect that relief rally to come. So where's that, for starters? And where might the macro bottom be? Lots of things to look at, lots of things to consider, and lots of variables and lots of time also kind of calculating into that. Going to do my best to help you find some clarity in the chaos today. So if you're just joining me, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new to the stream, my name is Keith Allen. I'm a full-time trader. I'm a work-from-home dad, and I am co-founder of Material Indicators. And if you're an old school member, hey, thanks for coming back. I greatly, greatly appreciate you. Guys, we finally cracked the mere 5,000 mark on Twitter. I was just getting hammered by the algo for the longest time, and had to resort to some, I guess, engagement tactics to help that thing get over the hump. But listen, I just want to be here analyzing the market, helping us all try to find clarity in the chaos. And I appreciate you guys who support me and hope that you will continue to do so. In fact, before we start the stream today, I'm going to ask you to do me one solid favor, and that is share this live stream with somebody, a fellow trader, a community group that you engage with in the crypto trading sphere, whatever. All of that engagement certainly helps us grow the channel. You know how the algos work. Also, do yourself the favor of hitting that subscribe button so you never miss a future stream. Really, really makes a difference. And your support is greatly, greatly appreciated. So what are we going to get into today? We're going to get into the candle charts. We're going to get into fire charts and look at liquidity, because we do have some changing liquidity dynamics that might make things interesting here for us in the near term. And we're also going to identify some targets that are potential landing zones when we get to the when we eventually find a macro bottom here out of this market. I will also, time permitting, look at a couple of altcoins and see how those charts are setting up, and see how their structures are holding up in this bear market. Alt's obviously getting annihilated, but at some point in time, there has to be a reversion point for those that are going to survive this, right? So we're going to get into that all here in just a sec. I want to remind you that live chat is open. These streams are always better when you guys engage with me. Why? Well, quite simply, I'm going to do my best to answer your questions. And of course, if you have insights, I'd love for you to share those with us as well. And it makes it more fun for me too. So by all means, if you've got questions or comments, chime in into the live chat. If you're watching a recorded version of this after the stream has ended, you can drop a comment wherever you're watching, on YouTube or on X, and I will engage with those comments later on. All right, so let's get into it. I want to start by sharing a candle chart here today as we are seeing a deep red head lower and lower as price now plummeting through 72.5K. And gosh, let's just share the screen and so we can all enjoy the ugly together, right? So look at this. The title of this thing is, after torching key levels, Bitcoin is approaching support. Well, where might that support be? And what were the key levels we torched? Of course, you know, we all know we came off the all-time high. We came through these key moving averages here, confirmed a bear market, and most recently lost the yearly open. This kind of dashed a lot of hopes here. Most of us, I would say, were looking for a retest of resistance here around the 50-week moving average, and it just has not materialized, right? We got as high as about 98K, and then we nuked. And we nuked below. The worst part of that is we nuked below the yearly open. We held support here briefly. This is a weekly chart we're looking at here. So we held support briefly here on the 100-week moving average. Actually, we held support for quite some time on the 100-week moving average. But after losing the yearly open, we again, we have now dropped through that level most recently here in the past couple of weeks, and now we have to see where we end up. Right, we lost the local low. I was looking for a potential double bounce here, didn't happen, and then looking for a potential bounce at the lower low here at 74. This one was funny. Okay, on Coinbase, this lower low was actually at $74,420.69. There's that 420.69. It's an inside joke in crypto. And guess what? It was just that. It did not do anything here in terms of slowing down the decline here or the erosion of a Bitcoin price here this past week. Let's look at this on the daily time frame just for a moment to gain some perspective here. As you can see, we did get some a retest of resistance up here around the 100-day moving average. That's when we hit that 98 level or just shy of it, but that was the last look up. And so as price continues to erode, the chances of retesting this 50-week moving average are getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. At some point in time that will happen, but it may not happen until we actually climb out of this bear market. Okay, so the levels that we're looking at now is what can we reclaim, right? Can we reclaim? Can we at least? I'm not even looking for a reclamation here. I'm looking for a resistance test at the yearly open, and I honestly thought it was going to come in this week or last. And it hasn't materialized. I want to show you here on a different chart that I had marked up that we had a situation where the 50-day and the 100-day moving averages looked like they were on an imminent path for a death cross. And I had drawn those marks. I had drawn those lines, dating back to, let's see when that was. When did I put these in place? That was about here on at the end of January 28th. And that was the trajectory as of the 28th. But things changed, right? And this rapid decline here, we just saw things get hammered. And look how this accelerated, because I was not expecting, at this stage, as of the 28th, I wasn't expecting this to happen until maybe this upcoming weekend. And that would have given us a chance to go up and maybe test that yearly open. And it hasn't happened. So let's see where that, actually, I can show you where that yearly open here is on timescapes. And we can also see where there might be some potential support here, right? So we're coming into another timescape level here. It's the Q2 of 2024. Level here at 71. In my opinion, though, when we get down, we're getting down into this range, right? There's a lot of sentiment for 70K, obviously, as there was before we left that range, okay? And if you go back in history, you remember we had this cup and handle. I'm going to move this back out here because it's noisy. We had this big cup and handle here, right? It was a big macro cup and handle, and it took a long time to break out past this 2021 top. Now, when did that happen? This is not a coincidence, my friends. The breakout at 69K happened on election day. Okay, boom. We broke the long time top, 2021 top at 69K, broke the 21-day moving average, and the rest is history, right? That was the run to all-time high territory. And now I call this the Trump pump. And guess what? That Trump pump is now in a full retrace at this stage. And it would be, by many people's accounts, poetic justice, if you will, if if we retrace all the way. And it's highly probable that before this bear market resolves, we're going to go lower. So where do we land here? And is this 2021 top a potential landing zone? I've had eyes on this for a while. I don't think it is necessarily going to be the macro bottom because of the pace that we're finding this, right? If it took us until Q3 to get here, then I'd be more likely to say that's a high probability of where the bottom is. But because this is happening at such an accelerated speed, I think that maybe this could provide a bounce point for a relief rally. How high that relief rally goes is anybody's business, is anybody's guess. Again, my hope, and hope is not a strategy. Okay, what I would like to see, and what I believe technically should happen. And as I stated last week, it doesn't matter what you think should happen. You can't trade the market that you want. You got to trade the market that you got, right? And so I was wrong about the pace that these things would happen. I really thought that we were going to get that support test up here. Never happened. I really thought we were going to get a support test back at this at the 2026 yearly open. It didn't happen. And so now, what are the chances that we actually can make it back up here, at least on a relief rally, before we see more decline? Well, that bounce is going to have to come soon. And the fact that now the 21-day moving average is peaking below that yearly open also makes it harder to achieve. So right now it's in range. If we have this quick, if we bounced from this timescape, or we bounced from anywhere in this region between this, where we are now and the 2021 top, I would say there is a chance that we could go back and test this resistance level. I would not expect that resistance test to pass, by the way. I think it would fail. I think we would be rejected and come back down, but there's no point in speculating. You just wait for it to happen, right? So what makes me think that we could potentially see a bounce in this range? Well, let's go over to fire charts and take a look at where liquidity is stacking at this very moment. You can see a higher concentration of bid liquidity is coming into this range above 69K. It's actually all the way, it ladders down, right? Now, we've seen these bids get pulled before. And sometimes it's a bona fide rug pull. Sometimes it gets pulled. And if we look at history, sometimes it gets pulled after it's abundantly clear that the bounce is going to happen, right? And so this ladder extends down into the 50 range, and which is also a potential target for the macro bottom. I would just, again, if this draws out for some time, probably better, unless we have just an incredible catalyst that helps things revert. Now, why might we be eroding at the pace that we are? Lots of narratives out there. If you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I have started to shed the narratives, right? Because if the narratives paid off, if the narratives were always well correlated with price action, number one, we would be trading Bitcoin in all-time high territory, if not potentially making new all-time highs, and ETH would be over 5K, right? So I think that Bitcoin would be closer to 170K than it is to 70K at this point. But that's not the case. The other thing about narratives is you can create a narrative around anything you want, around any bias, any little micro event. And right now we have lots of stuff happening, right? There's FUD about Binance. There's FUD about the economy. There's FUD about geopolitical tension in many corners of the globe. There's FUD about the Epstein files and some bullshit coming out now that I've seen that there's now rumors circulating that Epstein is Satoshi. Look me in the eye. Look me straight in the eye. No fucking way. Don't be ridiculous. Don't believe everything you see. Anything can be created. Do not base your decisions on a screenshot that somebody shared or an image that somebody shared without a link to the source material, because anything can be created. Not just the old way in Photoshop, but now with AI, literally anything can be created. So don't believe the bullshit. If it sounds absolutely ridiculous, it is. Okay. So please just calm down. Ignore the FUD. Ignore the bullshit and pay attention to the charts. The charts don't lie. And so, as we can see here, a pretty good concentration in this range where we're at of bid liquidity. But as we've seen in the past, when we get these bounce points, right, that liquidity goes away, right? It gets pulled. So if we were to get a bounce from here and this got pulled, then I wouldn't necessarily be concerned. It's when the rug pull comes before price hits that level that you got real problems. Okay, so let's dial this in time frame by time frame and see if we can reveal anything else that looks interesting to me. I do like the fact that we do have bids stacking here in this range. You know, we could talk about Sailor. Doesn't fucking matter. The guy is going to buy at every level. He buys tops all the time to try and inspire the market to keep buying. The price will move up, and guess what? It's not happening. Okay. So identify the targets that work for you and play at those levels, not somebody else's levels, not Sailor's, not mine. Got to do you. Okay. Oh, wow. It's already that time. I see I have an appointment coming up soon. So I should probably, rip through this pretty quick. Okay. So let's go and look at some potential targets really quick. Okay. So obviously, this is where I said that we could potentially see a local bounce here because of the fact that we have that liquidity stacking here in fire charts. We also have something interesting here that indicates that we might be approaching at least a local support level, as we can see that high beta is up. Which is an indication of price trading around local bottoms. But also, if we head into, and this chart, by the way, is part of the MI dashboard, lots of data in here. We can see we're also entering a capitulation phase on alts here. So this doesn't necessarily pinpoint a bottom, or a local bottom, I should say, but it means that we're likely getting close. Okay. And so these are some indications that local support, not macro support, but that local support might be close by. So those are some things that I'm paying attention to. ETH, what's ETH doing right now? Shitting the bed? Yup. Look at this, through the structure and also looking for lows. What happens here if we go to the weekly chart? Oh, I just botched that. Let's see. Okay. So there is trend line down around 1500, 1586, something like that, that I'm interested in, right? Because I'm staking ETH, not necessarily in love with the ETH narrative right now. And again, that's why I don't pay attention to the narratives. I did. In full transparency, I was fully focused on the narrative, on Tom Lee's narrative about ETH and the financial system being built on ETH. And guess what? That narrative moved against me. So I got rid of the narratives, and now I trade the charts exclusively. And it looks to me like we will have another imminent death cross between the 21-week moving average and the recently crossed 50 and 100 moving averages down here. And, price just dumped through the 200-day moving average. That's typically a pretty good spot. But as you can see, it's been disrespected plenty of times before, and today is no different. So here's where I'm looking around this 15 as a potential landing zone for ETH in the near term. Let's see what happens. You would like to see this structurally hold up, but there's a lot of coins that just, the structure is not holding up. Look at Litecoin. Litecoin is also lost its structure. It's come into a heavy consolidation zone that of prior consolidations, I should say. Many might consider this to be a buy zone, but what's happening with this coin? It's struggling. So looking for a reversion before I get too excited about this. Might add incrementally just a dollar cost average my way out of this trade. What else can we look at real quick? The clock is ticking on me. Oh, here's one I always enjoy seeing. Bitcoin dominance remains high, although rolling down for the first time in a few days. Does this hold up structurally? We'll see. But I mean, look at this. ETH dominance just getting hammered. Total 3 just getting hammered. If you're looking for an alt season, forget about it. Not happening anytime soon. There will be select alts that do rally. There will be some runners, but you better be looking for quality if you can find it. And that quality, let's just say it's few and far between. Let's see. Atom, kind of a shit coin. High rewards on this coin on Coinbase. It stakes very high. So there's some interest in that one. But look at this, literally at the bottom of its lifetime structure here. And so potentially an opportunity for a reversion out of this, but also potential for it to go lower. So you just have to really be watching the liquidity and see when things start to turn around. How about, let's do one more really quick because I got to wrap it here, but Solana. Blasting through timescape levels, blasting through the 200-week moving average. That hasn't happened before. Okay, so there's a lot of there's nothing between where Solana sits now in terms of structure. Maybe on actually, let me retract that statement. Maybe on a different exchange. Let's see where there's more history, right? Yeah, still not a lot, right? It's never broken the 200 week moving average, which it's just done, and there's not a lot of support between where we sit right now and the next level of timescape consolidations down around the 35 range. That would just be incredible, absolutely incredible. So generational opportunities could be on the horizon, I guess is what I'm saying. So pay attention. Gonna wrap it up here with a parting shot of the order book here. See if anything noteworthy happening here in these last couple of minutes here with Bitcoin. As you can see, we have just yellow is buying at this stage, or orange, I should say. Largely retail. Yes, whales do live in this class and they play in this class too. Lots of TWAPing we'll often see out of the orange class, but right now you can see all of the other major classes are selling. They want to get it down lower and lower, potentially get these bids filled, and we will be watching for that as well. Going to wrap it right there, guys. If you want more, you'll find links in the description to join us in the Telegram community. We've got a free Telegram community for material indicators, lots of great traders in there, and we are sharing the alpha all day, every day. So come on in and join us. You'll find links in the description down below. You'll also find links on the material indicators webpage, on the X profile page, MI_algos, and of course on our YouTube channel and CoinMarketCap channels as well. Thanks, guys. Hope this helps you trade a little smarter.